So hello guys. So in this video we're gonna see about your variables. Okay. So what are the different variables that are there in your C, embedded C? Okay, embedded C, and how we can able to initialize them. Okay, and what are the rules we need to follow and all. Okay. So first is your types. Okay. So we have characters. Okay. So characters, and for your string we use this. Okay, so characters means A, B, C alphabets. Okay, so string means the collection of these things A, B, C, D. So this is a string collection of characters. Okay, so this is your actual code we have. Then next is your integers that has the range from minus 32,000 to plus 30,000. Okay, and next is your short int we have. Then your long int, okay, that has a range of around more than 2 mil, okay, 2 or 21 lakh, okay, around this range. Then next is your unsigned character, unsigned char, okay. Then your unsigned int, okay. What unsigned actually is that it only takes your, you can say, your positive values, okay, positive values. Okay, its range is only for positive values. Okay, so if your variable only deals with positive values, you can use your unsigned integer. Okay, so it just limits your range. So less the range, less will be your commutation time it needs. Okay, so next is your float. Okay, so for decimal we use float, and for more accuracy, okay, for up to 15 digits we use double. Okay, then next we have your types. Okay, local and global. Okay, so local is when I keep your variable in a specific under the scope. Okay, so this is a function. Okay, main function. So under this, if I keep a variable, then that variable is accessed only throughout that scope. Okay, we just keep x is equal to 4. So this x variable can only be used under the scope. Okay, so if I give in a separate function, okay, say I just perform some actions x plus y, like that if I perform, it will show the error that it can't able to recognize the variable. Okay, so for that we want to have multiple, if you are having multiple functions, and if you're using the variable that deals with various functions, means you can initialize this variable outside your scope. Okay, so that is called as your global variable. Okay, so the variables that are declared outside your scope. Okay, so this is your global, okay, that is outside your function. Okay, and the local we have. Okay, so you can see also keep more local variables one other another. Okay, so this is the local variable 1, so that has a limit up to this one. Then this variable 3, it has limit up to this one only. Okay, but for global variable you can able to access throughout. Okay, then next is your choosing your data type for use case. Okay, so if you are dealing with sensor data, okay, sensors and applications that deals with positive values, we use int. Okay, so there is two things. One is 16 underscore t 32 underscore t, which is 16 bit 32 bit. Okay, so 16 bit means, so one bit is what, 0 and 1. Okay, so it will be 2 power 16. Okay, and 2 power 32. Okay, so if your values are, okay, if your, I can say, sensor data, your sensor data has a range of around 0 to 65535. Okay, you can use unint 16t. Okay, if it is more than that, you can use unint 32t. Okay, so next is, if you are having very negative values, you can use int 16t or 32t. Okay, then for characters you can use char. Okay, then decimal we are having float and double. Okay, then for flag we can use 8-bit unti or boolean. Okay, then for registering access we need to use registers. Okay, so register means the data, the memory inside, right? So to access that you need to use the bit. Okay, need to use this unint 16t or 32t. Okay, now let's check with each and every rule. Okay, so first we see about the first rule, that I need to start the word with small case. Okay, so if your variable say int 16t altitude, okay, so it should be start with your lower case. Okay, so I just open my STM32. Okay, I just open my STM32. Okay, so here so your first rule is that you just need to initialize a variable. Okay, so I'm initializing int, I can just put int 16 underscore t. Okay, and here you just put initial, so it should be starting with the small letter. Okay, initial, once again, so unint 16t. Okay, initial, then next is that we don't need to have any spaces and all. So if your variable is bigger, okay, so that is say initial maximum altitude. Okay, so the next one should start from a capital, small caps. Okay, then the ending should be small, then the next one should be caps. Okay, so it should be small, starts with small, the next one should be start with capital, then capital and all. Okay, okay, so this is your first rule. Okay, so it should be start with the lower case, and the following words can start with uppercase, starting with uppercase. Okay, so this is the rule number 1. Okay, so your rule number 2, what it says that you should avoid abbreviations. Okay, so if I put altitude maximum mx speed, okay, like that, if I just put means, this means many other things, right? So as a user we can able to remember that time, but after say a week or later you can't able to find it, right? You can't able to understand what this significance are. So it's better you type the full variable, altitude maximum velocity, like that you type it. Okay, so you can able to understand, okay, this variable means this parameter, like that. Okay, so here, so what I did, so instead of using the same thing, and in your 16 underscore t, instead of putting ims, okay, initial maximum speed, so I can't able to understand, right? It can be anything, initial medium speed, like that I can't be able to understand it, so I just put initial maximum speed. Okay, so this is your second rule when it comes to defining your variables. Okay, then your third rule is that you need to initialize them in separate lines. Okay, so unint 16t say a, okay, then just put unint 16t b, like that. If you put means, what happens, maybe if you just miss a say comma, okay, or if you just missed in the space, like that. Okay, so it can lead to your bugs might happen if multiple variables are present in a single line. Okay, so to prevent that, it's better you start with a separate line. Okay, a unint 16t a b, like that. Okay, so what we need to do here, instead of putting say an int 32t speed, we start with speed. Okay, then comma final time comma distance. Okay, like this if we put means, there might be a potential of errors. Okay, So it's better instead of this. Okay, so I just write this is your bag. Okay, so this I'm just putting the comment. Okay, instead of this, put unint 32t. Okay, speed. Okay, then unint 32t distance. Okay, like that you can able to initialize it. Okay, in a separate lines. Okay, so that is your next rule. Okay, then next is that for your global variables. Okay, so if you are having global variables, so to pick out that I am using this global variable and a local variable, you need to add a prefix of g. So I can able to know. Okay, because say if I just say a b, so this a b can be put it in global. Okay, int unint 32t a b can be put it in global, and sometimes a variable say unint 32t speed. Okay, so this can be global, this is global, this is local. So now I need to create a say command. So I don't know, maybe this is in top. Okay, so you don't need to check it every time that whether it is in global or local. So you just put g means yeah, so this term can able to yeah, so this prefix if you just put instead of speed g speed. Okay, so this prefix you can able to know that yeah, so that's the reason we don't use any abbreviations, because if you use abbreviations means what happen, you can get confused. So you should not use any abbreviations, and for global variables you need to use a prefix, okay, of g. Okay, so let's see here. So this is your local variables. Now for global variables, same thing. Okay, unint 32t, you are just put some g acceleration. Okay, g acceleration. Okay, so this is your global variable. Okay, so now we can able to find that yeah, this is a global variable. Okay, then so these are local, these are global. Okay, then your next rule is that you need to use p for pointers. So pointers are different, so it used to find the address. Okay, address of the variable. Okay, it holds the address of that variable. Okay, so you should have a star symbol. Okay, and space for your variable name. So I will show you. So what happens here, so if you want to initialize a character, you can say a pointer. Okay, so star, star, so that means it's a pointer p. So this is the rule. So for to initialize a pointer you need to put a star. So this is for naming conversion, this is p. So first is your small, then you can just put here, you need to put yeah, so here you need to put a caps. Okay, so that you can find that this is a prefix and this is a variable. Okay, speed, so this speed. Okay, so this is how you put your initialize your pointers. Okay, now next is that if you want to initialize a global pointer, okay, if your variable is both global and a pointer, use a pointer prefix. Okay, so just put a star here and you put a g. Okay, so you have a pointer and you use a global prefix. Okay, so here wait, let's go, let's see in the this one code. Okay, so char star g last. Okay, so g last is a global pointer. Okay, so this represents your pointer thing and just the naming convention. Okay, so this is your global and point prefix. Okay, then the last is that you need to have typedef. Okay, so it's better to use a typedef whenever you are using variables possible. Okay, because just say sometimes you are just converting. Okay, just change in your types. Okay, it changes from int to float. Okay, so as changing the type later will be more complex. Okay, so to have this type change feature, we can have this typedef. Okay, so how we can able to initialize it? Just tell you here. Just type your typedef into here. Okay, just type def. Okay, so both for global, local and all. Okay, just put typedef. Okay, so that in the future this variable can able to change its type. Okay, whenever possible. Okay, okay, so these are the rules. Okay, that you need to follow when dealing with your variables. So then that's it for this video. So we just learned about your variables. So your variables is what? The thing that changes. We already know that variables, the thing that changes its values over the time, right? And we see what are the different data types. Okay, and when to use what is the symbol, what is the your tag that I need to use, and what are the rules that I need to follow when dealing with your variables. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you.